And in fact, that's what I've heard as well. Like, love isn't what you feel about someone else, it's what they make you feel about yourself.
And there are two differences, like loving yourself and being obsessive about yourself, therein also is a difference, you know. You could like yourself, love yourself is fine, but if you're obsessively like all about you, like if you're like deeply a megalomaniac or obsessive about yourself, it's very difficult for you to contribute into a relationship.
Then you have to call Karan.
Then you have to call me.
I want to ask him another question. He just said that in the relationship that, in the marriage of Angad and Neha, he's the good-looking one.
Right.
What are you saying about Neha then?
Well, there's a difference between good-looking and super sexy, right? Like he's good-looking and she's super
What a
sexy.
save.
Yeah.
Well, Neha has immense amount of sex appeal. I think that she does. She's tremendously hot, and from the time that I first met her to the time now, her intelligence is also a turn on, but also I think her voice and her curves that are invariably covered by tapestry. But
I knew this wasn't going to end well.
But you're hot, Neha, and you have to know that.
Thank you, Karan.
You have to own it, which you do quite a lot.
I'm shaking right now because I know this is... Are you done?
I'm
This
done.
is turning into a
What?
whole show, huh, by the way.
That was a real compliment. Please, just clap. Just clap.
Well, I always ask Neha, because she's so gorgeous and stunning, why she wears like bed sheets, always. Like, I want to know why she's always Bed Bath and Beyond.
She wants people to imagine stuff.
Yeah, I suppose.
Okay, we have to move on to
like
Rannvijay
that.
now.
As I cover up a little more.
So Rannvijay, your Instagram is just adorable to follow. Now, everyone would think of Rannvijay as this really macho, just like out there, roughing it out, but his Instagram is filled with the most adorable pictures of him and his wife.
Yeah.
And even their story, I think you met where both of you
That's
were not
my
drinking.
wife posting for me, by the way.
She's got your pass. I believe you met when you were both at a party and neither of you were drinking, and that's how you connected.
Yep.
So how, how does someone like you, who's really like got all these girls running after him, find that one and have this beautifully cute relationship? Because that's what all girls are looking for.
I'm from Punjab. And we've been brainwashed since we were young that if a girl's from London, you say yes. She's actually somebody who didn't know what I did. So in your question, you had a part where you said girls running behind you. After about 10, 12 years of being, doing what I do, I didn't know the agenda of women. I didn't know why they liked me. Was it my humor? Was it my chivalry? What was it? Because I didn't even need to do anything at times. And it's true.
Modest.
And then there was a time when I met this girl who didn't know what I did and started liking me for that present between the two of us, right? And over a period of months, she liked me for who I was, and it was very refreshing. And for me, I didn't even want to get married at one point, and when I met her, it just flipped, and my mom was like, "Main tenu kya si? Jado kudi aaugi." You know, so that's that, man. And we connect on different levels, and we're also, like you said, I'm the adventurous kind. She's just the opposite. She would never step into a tent. She's the luxury kind. So we are showing each other different things in the world, and I think that's why we're so attracted. And it's like, opposites attract.
I love that, and I'm sure you've seen so many variations of love stories, especially when people call you, right? And it's amazing that you're going to actually have a second season. Everyone knows the show is bold. You're super honest with people, right? But what was like the one call on Ishq 104.8 where you were like, oh my God, I don't know what to do, like you were stunned?
There were a couple of really strange calls. There was one man who called me and said that he had a girlfriend who he broke up with because he found a really hot girlfriend.
This is your advice, basically.
No, so this is what he told me. Yeah, maybe it was my advice. So he found someone really hot. And he said, yaar, सब कुछ ठीक जा रहा था, बहुत hot है, लेकिन वो मेरी girlfriend जो hot है, वो नहाती नहीं है.
Oh no.
So I was like, हाँ? He said, हाँ, वो बिल्कुल नहीं नहाती, और मैंने बहुत बार उसे deodorant दिया, shampoo दिया, साबुन दिया, बहुत सारे hint pass किए, लेकिन she doesn't have a bath. मैंने उसको टिप बरसा पानी भी Google पे या YouTube पे दिखाया कि नहाती हुई देखो कितनी खूबसूरत लगती है लड़की, लेकिन फिर भी उसके बावजूद she was not having a bath. So that he had a very big problem that she was just not bathing. And he said, तो मैं क्या करूँ? I said, छोड़ दो. I said, what do you mean नहाती नहीं है? How can you be with someone who stinks on a daily basis? So he was like, हाँ मैं जब kiss करता हूँ तो बदबू आती है और ये. So I was like, तो बिल्कुल छोड़ दो. I said क्यों छोड़ दिया तुमने पहले girlfriend? He said ये hot निकले से hot what भूल जाओ. Hot का क्या फायदा अगर गंदी है? So he said okay. Then he was the only follow-up call I got at the end of the season when we did the finale. He called and said, "Arey, thank you. I left them. I've gone back to my girlfriend. At least she has a bath, you know, and I'm happy." So I was like, "Chalo, very good." So I was quite perplexed initially because you don't realize. And there was this daughter-in-law who called me. She just got married, and she said, "I've lied to my mother-in-law that I'm vegetarian." Because actually, he said, "मैं चुप-चुप के office में chicken खाती हूँ." So she said, "But once from my dabba, the mother-in-law has found this haddi of the chicken. It was lying in the vegetarian dabba." So the mother-in-law's of course thrown this big fit. And she said, "What do I do?" So I said, "What do you mean, what will you do? You either choose chicken or your husband, no? One of the, you must be loving one more than the other, and then you decide." She was really, so there are problems like this that you would imagine are really not very large problems, but to them, it's the end of their life. Like they were like, what do I do? Then of course there are the emotional ones and the ones that there was even a boy who rang me up, and it was quite, I mean, heartbreaking when he called me and said that, "Arey, I've got married, but I'm not interested in my wife, I'm gay." So I said, "Then why did you get married?" So he says, "No, but now she's getting upset that I don't want to have sex with her." So I was like, obviously she's going to get upset. I mean, she's going to blame herself that you're not, she's probably feeling all kinds of, issues in her head. I said, "You go and tell her, नहीं, मैं मम्मी पापा को कैसे बोलूँ, उनका दिल टूट जाएगा." I said, "What about your wife?" I'm like, so there are also those grave situations that you address and handle those emotionally. Some are whack job calls, but some are also really intense, serious situations.
It's amazing that people are genuinely calling, otherwise they'll always call with that one question, "I'm in love with my
No,
best friend."
a lot of people like ask me and say, "Oh, are these made up?" I'm like, not at all. These are legit calls with people with real issues. And the fact that they're talking to you, you feel obliged to give them the right kind of advice.
Also, can I just, sorry,
Yeah.
because it's radio, it's easier for people to just call you and be truthful.
Yeah.
Because you're not watching them on television. That's the kind of things that happen on like TV shows and stuff like that. You can't really sometimes say the truth. So that's why that medium is so
But
effective.
it's hysterical. Like some of the calls are just like, there are thousands. I mean, we don't have that kind of time, but like I get shocked. Like every time I put my, like literally my headphones off, and I'm like, I can't believe that these people have these issues. Like it's really crazy.
Has anyone ever called you back and said that, because you gave me this advice and I took it, and now everything has gotten sorted? Have you had a case like that?
No. I mean, a couple of them in the end called and thanked me for the advice. I go, while talking to me, they're all saying, "Oh, thank you. I never thought of that," and I feel very great about myself that I'm giving some copism.
After applying it in their lives.
After, yeah, of course.
But has anyone also blamed you for the advice that you've given them?
Actually, that I think they don't allow that access to come to me. I'm sure there are many of those.
Thank
as
God.
well. In fact,
Clearly he's had a great track record, and that's why we're launching season 2. Yeah.
no, but I'm telling you, like there was this man who called me and he said, "Yaar, my mother doesn't leave me. She's always sitting on top of my head," and I just bitched the mother out. And I was like, and then after 2 minutes, she said, "Arey, inse baat karo, mere maa mere सामने बैठी हुई है." And I'm like, "Why the hell are you calling me and asking me to give you advice about your mother who's clinging to you and whose mother sitting there?" And she's saying, "कैसे लगा मेरे बेटे का problem?" I was like, "कैसे लगा होगा मेरे बेटे का
She
problem?"
must have told him.
Clearly she hasn't left him even then.
I'm like, what kind of mad people are there in this world?
So Imtiaz, everyone knows your, the relationship you have with your audience of making these beautiful love stories and these characters that you create. Now, in this modern day, now you've got a Laila Majnu coming, the modern version. So what's going to be that story? What's different about this Laila Majnu?
About Laila Majnu, I guess you watch the film and then I'll ask you this question. But I think about young people, the most common mistake that all of us make is to think that they just want to have fun. I feel more and more that the younger generation, every coming younger generation is more and more interested in finding meaning. It's like, so many people reach out because they just want something to hold on to. What was fun for the previous generation is not what they're looking for in their relationships. That's what I feel. I think that's been a big revelation for me. And in Laila Majnu, of course, there is, the fact that a classic love story is eternal and it is relevant far more than, the short lives of people like you and me. So that's the aspect that I wanted to explore about Laila and Majnu, because, and I do not obviously cater to the view that प्यार पहले ज़माने में हुआ करता था, अब तो सिर्फ Tinder होता है.
Yeah. And that's the thing. So now we're in the age of love, love in the age of hashtags and love, and people are swiping right and they're doing all of that. So I'd love for each of you to give a piece of advice to this audience that is, probably stuck in this phone trying to find the love of their life, which we kind of come from a very different generation of finding love. So Rannvijay, would you like to begin?
When before I met my wife, there weren't these apps where you find people. Today, because we interact with a lot of young people on the shows that we do, for us to meet somebody, we had to have a conversation or work on a set or you need to meet people to know whether you like that person. Here, people are just looking at people and doing this. We're like on a website, like products. Oh, I like this. I don't understand it. For me, a relationship of any kind, friendship, love, anything has to happen like we're human beings. We're supposed to interact with each other. So I don't understand. And we're not away from that generation. We're in the same generation. It's just that, like he said, they think they just want to have fun. Right now, what's happening is you're so busy in your life. You have so many events. There are so many cultural things happening in India. You have so many places where you can watch content that you don't think you actually need physical compatibility. You're busy with your video games. You're busy with your phone. There's social media. But when these things die down, the thrill and the frill of these things, you actually need a human being to share and discuss your emotions. You can't do it with the TV or the screen. And that for young people is difficult to understand. That is what people say, with age and experience and time you learn. If they could learn from what we're saying, it'd be great. Sooner the better. But I've seen a lot of kids just, I'm just having fun, and suddenly you're 35, and you're like, everybody's not as lucky as Neha and Angad. Well done, really.
In fact, Neha, I'd love your perception of this and your experience of it, because like Rannvijay is saying, you're kind of crossover, you've been on social media a lot, and you actually use social media to announce your relationship. But what is your advice now, looking back at the way people also reacted, and would you share it again, and what's your advice?